300 men stood in a mountain pass, staring down an army of tens of thousands. They knew they were going to die. They stayed anyway. And believe it or not, that's not even the craziest last stand in history. These are 5 times when soldiers looked at certain death and chose not to run. But every single one of them became a legend. Let's begin. Number 5. Rorke's Drift. South Africa, 1879. A tiny British outpost sits alone in enemy territory. Inside are about 150 soldiers, and many of them are sick or wounded, barely able to hold a rifle. Then a scout comes racing in with a warning that freezes the blood. An army of 4,000 Zulu warriors is marching straight for them, and it will be here within the hour. Think about that. More than 25 warriors for every single defender. They could run. Every instinct screams at them to run. Instead, they tear apart the supply depot and build a wall out of biscuit boxes and grain bags, and they wait. The Zulu come like a wave. They crash against the barricade, fall back, and come again. And again, hour after hour, into the night, until the fighting is hand-to-hand in the dark, but the wall holds. When the sun finally rises, the Zulu are gone. Against all odds, the outpost survived, and 11 of those men earned the Victoria Cross, the most ever awarded for a single battle in British history. But holding a wall is one thing. Our next group of men had no wall to hide behind at all. Number 4. The Swiss Guard. Rome, 1527. The center of the entire Catholic world. And it is about to burn. An army of 20,000 mutinous soldiers pours through the gates, looting, killing, and torching everything they touch. Nothing can stop them. Nothing, except 189 men in bright uniforms. The Swiss Guard. Outnumbered more than 100 to 1, they know the truth instantly. Their commander makes a choice. He tells the Pope to run and orders his men to buy that escape with their own lives. And they do. As the guard stands and dies, right there on the steps, a handful of them cut a desperate path through the chaos, smuggling the Pope out through a hidden passage in the walls. By the end, 147 of the 189 were dead, but the Pope was alive. And to this very day, new recruits to the Swiss Guard are sworn in on May 6th. The exact date those men chose to die, so that one man could live. That was a stand to save someone else. Number 3. The Alamo. Texas, 1836. An old crumbling mission, defended by around 200 men. And marching toward them, a Mexican army 1,000 strong. For 13 days, that tiny garrison holds. And legend says that on one of those nights, their commander drew his sword, scratched a line into the dirt, and said, "Cross this line if you're prepared to die here with me." Almost every man stepped across. On the final morning, in the black hour before dawn, the army attacks. They swarm the walls from every direction at once. And the defenders fight until there is no one left to fight. Every last one of them falls. But here's the thing. Those 13 days were not wasted. They bought precious time for the Texan army to gather its strength. And weeks later, those soldiers charged into battle with 3 words on their lips: "Remember the Alamo," and won their freedom. Number 2. Horatius at the bridge. And this time, it's not 200 men, or even 189. It's 1. Ancient Rome. An enemy army is closing in, and the only path into the city is a single narrow wooden bridge. If that army crosses it, Rome falls that day. None of them are walking away from this. So one soldier does something that sounds completely insane. Horatius walks alone to the far end of the bridge, plants his feet, and blocks the entire army with nothing but his own body. 2 men see this and run to stand beside him. 3 soldiers now, on a bridge so narrow the enemy can only come a few at a time. And as they fight, behind them, their countrymen are frantically hacking the bridge apart, plank by plank. At the final moment, with the bridge groaning and collapsing beneath his feet, Horatius shoves his 2 companions back to safety and faces the army alone. The bridge crashes into the river, and Horatius, still in full armor, turns and leaps in after it. Legend says he swam back to Rome through a hail of enemy spears and lived. 1 man, 1 bridge. An entire army stopped cold. But the greatest last stand of them all is still to come. Number 1. The 300 Spartans. 480 BC. A narrow coastal pass in Greece, called Thermopylae. And approaching it, the largest army the ancient world had ever laid eyes on. The Persian Empire. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers, from every corner of the known world. Standing against all of them, King Leonidas, 300 Spartan warriors, and a few thousand Greek allies. The Persian king sends a demand. "Lay down your weapons." Leonidas sends back just 2 words: "Come and take them." And here is the genius of it. The pass is so narrow that the Persians can't use their massive numbers. Only a few can attack at a time, and the Spartans, the finest warriors on earth, cut them down wave after wave. For 2 entire days, The most powerful empire in the world cannot break 300 men until a traitor whispers a secret to the Persians. A hidden mountain path that leads around behind the Spartans. Suddenly, they are surrounded on all sides. Leonidas knows exactly what that means. So he sends the allies home, and the 300 Spartans stay to meet the end on their own terms. They fight with their spears. When the spears shatter, they fight with their swords. And when the swords break, they fight with their bare hands and their teeth. Every last Spartan dies on that ground. But they had held just long enough. Their sacrifice united all of Greece, and the Greeks went on to win the war and save their entire civilization. The 300 lost the battle and won history. 5 moments. 5 impossible choices. 5 groups of men who stared down the end and refused to take a single step back. Some fought to win. Some fought to buy time. And some fought simply to prove that it could be done. So here's my question for you. Which of these would you have stood in? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories that history left out of the textbooks, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.